The iPhone 18 Pro has just quietly crossed a massive milestone months before Apple even walks on stage, and it basically confirms Apple's entire 2026 strategy. This leak doesn't just tell us what the iPhone 18 Pro will look like. It shows us exactly how Apple plans to position its flagship lineup against the competition, including the long-rumored iPhone Fold. And the most shocking part? The biggest move Apple is making is what they're choosing not to change. So in this video, let's break down the latest iPhone 18 Pro leaks, the new production details, the titanium design, that stunning deep red color option, and what all of this really means for Apple's 2026 iPhone roadmap. And make sure you watch till the end, because the strategy behind this phone might completely change how you think about upgrading. According to a new report from tipster Fixed Focus Digital on Weibo, the entire iPhone 18 lineup, including the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max, has officially entered the production testing phase. Now, if you don't follow Apple's hardware cycle closely, this isn't just a random internal step. This is a huge deal. This stage is known as the Engineering Validation Phase, or EVT. It's where Apple partners with its main suppliers and factories to test how well the new iPhone design can actually be built at scale. They're checking assembly, efficiency, how different components fit together, how many units come out perfectly versus how many have defects, and where the bottlenecks are in the production line. In simple terms, this is Apple's last major chance to fix physical issues before full-scale mass production starts. And here's what that really tells us. If the iPhone 18 Pro is already in this testing phase, months ahead of Apple's September-style reveal window, that means the design is basically locked in. Apple is no longer experimenting with the shape, the frame, or the core structure. The 2026 iPhone 18 Pro design is done. But this is where things get interesting. According to the supply chain leaks, Apple is sticking with the same titanium chassis and overall design language that we've seen in the previous Pro models. No wild frame redesign, no switch to some crazy new material, no dramatic new body, shape. At first glance, that might sound boring, especially as other brands push super experimental designs, folding concepts, and unusual materials. But this move from Apple is 100% intentional and extremely strategic. By keeping the titanium structure and core design consistent for the iPhone 18 Pro, Apple gets a huge advantage in manufacturing. They already know how Grade 5 titanium behaves in the factory. They already understand how it affects weight, durability, heat dissipation, and antenna performance. Their engineers, their machines, and their processes are already tuned for it. That means higher yields, fewer defects, tighter tolerances, and better quality control right from day one. Instead of worrying about whether a brand new frame design will cause production delays or bending issues or overheating, Apple can focus on what they're best at: internal refinement. So the 2026 iPhone 18 Pro is shaping up to be a refinement monster. We're expecting the next generation A-series chip, likely built on an even more efficient process with improved performance and better battery efficiency. We're looking at upgraded thermals, more advanced internal layering, and tighter integration between components because the engineers are working inside a chassis they already know inside and out. They're not fighting the outer shell, they're optimizing the guts. This is Apple in refinement mode at its absolute peak. Same proven, premium titanium design on the outside, but more powerful, cooler, more efficient, and more polished on the inside. And that might actually be the whole point. The radical hardware experimentation, the crazy form factor, the truly different physical experience, according to multiple reports, is being reserved for the long-rumored iPhone Fold that's expected to debut alongside or around the same time as the iPhone 18 series. So instead of making the iPhone 18 Pro look and feel like a completely different object, Apple appears to be drawing a clear line. The iPhone 18 Pro is the ultimate version of the classic iPhone, while the iPhone Fold is the new frontier for people who want something truly different. But don't worry, Apple still understands the psychology of upgrades. They know that for a lot of people, a new iPhone has to feel new the second you see it, even if the shape is familiar. And this is where the color story comes in. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reports that Apple is actively testing a brand new deep red finish for the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max, and this is not some random color thrown in at the last minute. This is a deliberate move based on real data from recent launches. Last year, Apple's bolder color options, especially the standout orange-toned Pro finish, absolutely exploded in popularity. In markets like China, that orange shade was often compared to luxury fashion tones used by brands like Hermes. It signaled status. It looked premium on camera. It stood out without looking cheap. And Apple noticed, color is now one of the biggest emotional triggers when it comes to upgrading. For many buyers, especially those who already feel their current phone is fast enough, the biggest visible reason to upgrade is, I want that new color. Apple is leaning directly into that. This new iPhone 18 Pro Deep Red is rumored to be a sophisticated, almost burgundy finish, not a bright, toy-like red, but a rich, deep, luxury red that pairs perfectly with the brushed titanium frame. Think high-end sports cars, luxury watches, and designer accessories. When you combine grade 5 titanium with a deep, elegant red that shifts slightly under different lighting, you don't actually need a new shape to make the phone feel like a brand new statement piece. So, on the outside, Apple's 2026 iPhone strategy is pretty clear. Keep the design language familiar and instantly recognizable as Pro, but give it a new hero color that makes it feel exclusive and desirable. On the inside, push performance, efficiency, and thermal management further, taking advantage of everything they've already learned from previous Titanium Pro models. Zooming out, this creates a very clever tiered lineup. On one side, you have the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max, the pinnacle of traditional smartphone reliability. Rock-solid design, mature materials, high yields, and predictable performance. On the other side, you have the upcoming iPhone Fold, the experimental tier. The wow factor. This looks like the future device that might not yet match the Pro in durability or long-term reliability, but completely crushes it in terms of form factor excitement. From a business perspective, this is brilliant. One device. The iPhone 18 Pro is optimized for stability, yield, and consistency. Apple knows they'll sell tens of millions of these, so they cannot afford a design disaster. The other, the iPhone Fold, is where they can take the big risks, test demand for foldables at Apple's scale, and grab headlines for doing something visually radical. So that brings us to the question that really matters for you. Is a refined titanium design with upgraded internals and a deep red luxury finish enough to make you upgrade to the iPhone 18 Pro? If you're on an iPhone that's 2 or 3 generations old, the answer might very well be yes. You're not just getting a new color. You're getting Apple's most polished version of this design. Better performance, likely better battery life, more efficient thermals, improved camera processing, and a finish that looks genuinely premium without needing a case to hide it. And because the design has been refined instead of reinvented, early buyers might actually benefit from fewer day-one hardware issues. No surprise frame flex problems, no strange manufacturing quirks from untested materials, no weird heat issues from a brand new structural approach. Just a mature Pro iPhone platform taken to its logical extreme. The fact that the iPhone 18 Pro is already in test production this early tells us something else too. Apple's 2026 roadmap is ahead of schedule. When Apple can lock in a design this far in advance, it gives them more time to optimize everything else. Software, camera tuning, power management, accessory compatibility, and even marketing. It's a sign that, internally, the 2026 strategy is not only decided, it's already being executed.